Good morning. Happy 4th of July. It's Friday, 4th of July. And we are going to work this 4th of July. The good news is the job is giving 8-hour overtime, whether I stayed home or not. And I'm about to go ahead and get another 8-hour on top of it. Now, I feel good about that. No room for regrets. Is that parking authority? Damn, niggas cook. Unless somebody just driving the car. Because of this holiday, I see a bunch of people parking at fire hydrants. Yeah, so. That's strange. But anyways, back to my things. Last night I had a bunch of ideas for a video. There's like a slight worry I have. I don't know where it's coming from. Like this little bit of uncertainty. I mean, I guess it's just natural. But then again, usually it's not. There's probably something that I'm putting aside. I'm not quite coming to terms with. I don't know. I don't even want to guess it right now for the sake of the video, because I don't replay these videos. I just upload them. It's not even my best angle, but you know, whatever. Let's build actually, I'm gonna wait for a red light. I'm gonna switch the position. I forgot that I put a phone holder up there. But like I said, I'm doing this like it's a live stream. You know, it would take time to replay these videos, find something I like or don't like, maybe even edit it, right? But that will be in due time. All right, let's do it. All right, that's better. I just hope the sound is just as good. Yeah, I got a phone holder now, so. Well, I've been at a phone holder. I just had to move it from my car to this rental. But yeah, that's a better angle. Yeah, man, something is kind of not really bothering me, but it feels like something is being cut off. I can't quite put my finger on it. Usually I'm used to getting a little personal in my recordings, but that's usually an audio record on my personal phone, which was something I was using for, you know, being therapeutic and just working on gathering my thoughts and trying not to be all over the place. It helped a lot, I would say. It brought me here where I'm like, you know what, I could do this, and I can upload it to a platform. So I try to put it all together by, you know, admitting a few things that I want to work on. You know, back in 2017, 2018, the space talked a lot about self-improvement, which, I mean, you hear it here and there, but not many people, you know, bring it up. You might hear boss up and stuff like that, which is essentially the same thing, but that's neither here nor there. I just know that I'm starting from scratch again, you know. That's why I talk a lot about this job, because it's essentially a fresh start for me. I went 2 years without a traditional job in my adult life. That probably is the longest. I mean, even through the pandemic, you know, I was working till like the last shoe drop of COVID. You know, basically I had a seasonal job, which with Amazon I enjoyed it because they were paying top for the seasonal position. They decided to pay top dollars. So at the time, you know, plus I didn't mind hopping in and out of vehicles in the suburb, delivering and stuff, and it was just the freedom I felt. But that had to come to an end, and you know, unemployment was booming or whatever. It was the popular thing to do. I didn't do it right away, but obviously once the job took a pause and not knowing where things were going, that took place, you know. I'm trying to remember how long until I did, you know, volunteer for community service, and then it became basically a position at that program. And then I did other jobs. I did other jobs. I don't think that's the key point. I don't want to dwell too long into it. But, you know, the last 2 years though, after I got to the post office, I made it almost a year, maybe a year. 2 years, maybe a year and a half. And, you know, I left on my own terms, you know, put my resignation in because, you know, it was difficult like that. And I just wanted to, I remember booking my flight and then asking for the days off. And because I was a driver assistance, whatever. I don't think I was getting shit about it. It was just like, all right, we were in like maybe September when I asked for some days in January off, and they couldn't fathom what's gonna happen by then. Even though it was early, it was just like, okay, well, we'll let you know. And then I was just, you know, it was a lot of work for the pay. It was walking, and then, you know, they didn't upgrade a lot of their vehicles and stuff, so just going through the summer or the winter, it was just like, damn. But the complaint is not really the job. I mean, if you got responsibilities and, you know, you already set yourself on doing it until the end or something absolutely better come along, you be fine. But as for me, it was just like, I gave it a try, but then right away I knew, like, you know, you look around, you see a couple people, no offense, but you like, man, I do not see myself getting a new knee replacement on my 20th or around retirement. Like, I mean, I will if I have to, but not because I knew this job would cause that, and, you know, I sacrificed my knee, you know. But, you know, it was just like, it was that, like, people, like, yo, it was like at least a 70% chance you're gonna need to replace something. Which again, as a man, we do those sacrifices when we got responsibilities, you know. The job would have been a lot more attractive if I had children in college. Once again, the pay is not that well, like most people think about the job, but that was the idea, essentially. So, I did my 2 weeks and I left, and my only, I remember they gave me like a break in service a week. And then I remember that week I worked like maybe 4 days and made $800. And then I compared that to the, you know, the under $2,000 check I would get, or a little slightly over $2,000 every 2 weeks I would get. I'm like, man, I had I have an XL vehicle. It has comfort. It had all that. I had just gotten it too. So I was like, you know what? If I could get like $800 in 4 days, I could save up quick and start a business versus running out of money after paying my bills every 2 weeks and, basically holding on to my last $100 at sometimes like the last 3 days before I get paid, something like that. And, I'm having a hard time saving, needing a loan. So I was like, you know what? I'm gonna just take a break because I remember sleeping like a whole week before Thanksgiving and during Thanksgiving. I just kept sleeping. I don't know if it was like tired, sadness. It was all bunched up in one, and I just needed a change. So fast forward, 2 years later. That's why I said this feel like a start from scratch. I decided to apply for a job. Ironically, it was somebody that's just started the post office that got fired from this job, but they were saying some good things about it. He just like, yeah, that's what I was doing. But unfortunately, I got into this disagreement with somebody and they went to HR. And he lost one of the easiest jobs he had. And he also told me that the schedule is so flexible that, because I picked him up through Uber, that I could always do what I'm doing. And I was like, you know what, give me the site. And when I took the site, I think I went through it later that night. I did a few applications, probably with my eyes closed because I hate that part. Well, and I only chose the ones that I was paying like $26 per hour because he told me he made like $100K. And then I also picked the salary ones as well. And somewhere along the way, I picked up one that I could get close to like 50 hours within 3 days of work, like a tour day. And lo and behold, that one reached out, and I was like, you know what? It goes hand in hand. It goes perfect. I want to travel. Most of my travels are like 4 or 5 days anyways, since I'm gonna have like at least three nights. I was like, it's a no-brainer. All right, I'm on the highway now. It sounds louder, so I'm gonna keep this at part 1. So I'll shoot part 2 soon. All right. Happy 4th. I'll see you on the next one sooner than later.